Good morning and welcome to Rye Bread Homestead, where we aim to please. This past week we had one of our subscribers make a request, and she was so cute about it that I just thought, you know, I'm just going to do this right away. And what she said was, Pam, could you please do a video on dill rye bread? And please, just in your regular oven, not in your air fryer or in a pillowcase. So today, you have your wish come true. I'm going to do exactly that. We are going to make Dilly rye bread. And I have good news for those of you that have purchased the bread book, and that is that the recipe, and here's our bread book. It's in our bookstore. I think it's the first one that you see when you click on the link. And it is Basic Rye Bread on page 37. And that is the basic recipe that we're going to start with. I told her that I would either find one or develop one. And so I kind of did both. I found the one that I had done regular rye bread in our bread book. And to that, I'm going to be adding 4 ingredients. I'm going to set this aside. It's taking up a lot of room. This is our rye. And it is whole grain rye, and I did already grind that into flour using my home grain mill, but I'm going to set this aside. So this recipe, all you'll need to do is to follow the recipe in the bread book and add 4 things, and that's all. And the 4 things are just right here. And it is some stone ground mustard, some dill pickle juice, some potato flakes for a little bit of softness, and then of course we need the dill. And I am using dill weed, and you could also use dill seed, but the dill weed is the plant and not the seed. It looks like little tiny bits of little tiny bladed grass. And I've mixed it here with the caraway, which is part of the regular recipe. So I'm going to set these things aside. Now we can go forward with the recipe. I'm using my Ankerstrom mixer, and I've actually had several people ask about it, and I've debuted this new, it's called the kitchen machine. I debuted it on a video, and I'll put the link to that at the end in case you're not familiar with this mixer. So I just simply put it right on my scale, turn my scale on, to put the bowl on the scale, and then I can start measuring flour. And the regular recipe calls for 360 grams of bread flour. So I'm going to put that in right now. Hey, I have just a tiny bit of flour left, and I had this one on standby just in case. This is the flour that I use. It is King Arthur unbleached bread flour. So now I'm going to set this aside. The regular recipe calls for 144 grams of rye flour. I already milled this, as I mentioned, and I've already pre-measured it, so I know that that's exactly 144, and I just double-checked it, and yes, it is. And now I can take this off the scale because I'm just going to add the rest of the dry ingredients. So from this side, which is the standard recipe that's in the book, I'm adding 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. I'm adding 1 teaspoon of sugar and 2 teaspoons of salt. Get all of it out of here. Just the dry ingredients, so I'm going to wait on that. Here is the caraway seeds, and you may remember that caraway seeds look like little seeds, little oblong seeds. So I have both the caraway and the dill weed in here, and so I'm going to dump those in. And from the add-in extras, I'm going to now add the 1/2 cup of potato flakes. So all of those are going in. Now I'm just going to put this right here. I'm going to attach the roller and set it to the middle of the bowl. And then here is the bowl scraper. And I'm going to turn it on just to mix those ingredients together. This is now all mixed together, so I'm going to add the wet ingredients. and let it mix again. So here is a 1.25 cups of warm water, a 1/2 cup of dill pickle juice, two tablespoons of oil and 2 tablespoons of honey, ooh, it's smelling good. And last is the mustard, 2 teaspoons. And I'm just going to let that mix together till it forms a kind of shaggy dough. And now we're going to let this autolyze for about 20 minutes. I'm going to cover it with this plastic bag, the whole thing, and I'm just going to let it sit there for about 20 minutes. During autolyze, the flour will be absorbed by the moisture, and then we'll be ready to start. We'll remix it for a minute, and then we will knead it. Now, in terms of this recipe and where you can get the recipe, I will be putting in the below the description of this video, I will be giving the amounts of the 4 extra ingredients that you will add to this recipe. So just pull out your bread book, turn to page 37, and follow the recipe exactly as it is, except you will add those 4 ingredients and you will have this wonderful Dilly rye bread. Now, I have good news for those of you who don't yet have the book, and that is that we are having a big birthday bash book sale to celebrate my 79th birthday, August 3rd. My grandfather's birthday, he would be 123 on August 4th, and my grandson's birthday, I forget how old he will be, 26 or 27. And on the 5th, so 3rd, 4th, and 5th, August 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all of our books will go on sale, all books, including the bread book, for 20% off. And I'll put a sign up so that you can remember, big birthday bash book sale. So we'll be back after the autolyze here. While we were autolyzing the dough, I made our reminder sign of our big birthday bash book sale, August 3rd through 5th. It will start at 8 a.m. on August the 3rd, and it will end at 5 p.m. Mountain Time on August the 5th. So let's check to see what we have here. So here we go. We want to mix it a little bit more. And turn it up. What we want to see is all the flour picked up and a dough that is not sticky. And I think we've got it. We'll see what happens as we knead here in a minute. So we're going to let this knead for 8 minutes and we'll be back. This is going to quit any second. I just wanted you to catch to see what a good job it does of kneading when everything is going just right. All right, there we have it. A tiny bit of flour on the countertop to ensure that it's not too sticky. Oh, it's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. Okay. Now we're going to put in here, I have sprayed some baking spray on the inside of this. I'm mashing it down so it's fairly level. And the measurements are on the side here. So we're going to now let it rise until it doubles in size. And when that happens, we'll be back, and then we're going to give it a torpedo shape, and let it proof for the last time. So we'll see you when this is ready to shape. It has been about an hour, and look how beautifully this is risen. So we are ready to make our torpedo shape. And nothing could be easier. It's just as easy as can be. So we're going to put it out here on this floured countertop. I'm going to press it down to degas it, while at the same time forming it into a square. Oh, it smells heavenly. Okay, that square is about 12 inches, and I'm totally guessing. So I'm going to come right to the middle, and I'm going to fold this corner down, straight down, and then I'm going to fold this corner straight down so that they meet in the middle. And then I'm going to pat it in place, and I'm going to start rolling from this end. And every once in a while, I'm just going to give it a little jerk to sort of pull the skin taut across the top. And this is now the biggest part, and it's now going to start getting thinner on the edges as we roll forward. And there's our torpedo. And sometimes you kind of have to help it. I have here 2 sheet pans, one inside the other, with foil and cooking spray on the top. So I'm just going to place it right here in the middle. Our cute little torpedo. And we're going to cover this and let it rise. Proof. This is the final proofing for however long it takes. And then using a very sharp knife, I'm going to slash it 3 times across, and then we'll give it a little egg wash over the top, and then we will bake it. And we will come back when it is ready to slash and give it the egg wash. The bread has proofed for about 45 minutes, and here's the big reveal. So, not perfectly straight, but it will do. Now I'm going to egg wash first this time. Sometimes I slash first and then egg wash. Somebody told me that was the wrong way to do it. I don't really know if there's a right and a wrong way to do it, but we'll try it this other way this time. I usually like to slash first so I can get the egg wash down in the slashes, but maybe that is not the way professional bakers do. And this egg wash is just a single egg with a couple of tablespoons of water mixed in with it, and then mixed up. I use a serrated blade. They make fancy little knives for slashing bread. This works for me. It's a very sharp serrated blade. So I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to go diagonal. And I'm going to go down about 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to come to one side, do the same parallel slash, and the other side. The oven has preheated. We are ready to put this in. It will bake for about 25 minutes. The directions in our bread book say your oven should be at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. My oven runs quite hot. I have it at 400. So we're going to bake this at 400 for about 25 minutes. Check it with a instant read thermometer, and it should read above 190, about 195, 198. Just below 200. So we'll come back when it's ready to come out of the oven. Oh, look how beautiful this is. It just turned out fantastic. I just barely took it out of the oven. I'm now going to try to lift it off the foil, if I can do that without burning myself. And move it over to the rack. There we go.
I'm making a struggle.
Oh, that is so gorgeous. And we're going to let it cool for just a little bit and then we'll cut some. I also just wanted to let you know you could have baked that in this pan, just a regular 5 by 8, 5 by 9, or a little bit larger version of this Pullman pan to make a perfectly square sandwich loaf. You could have put it in here, but you could almost do 2 of this much dough in this pan. So we'll have a taste in just a few minutes when it has cooled enough that we can cut it. The oven fan is still going to cool the oven, so I'm competing with the sound over there. But here's the moment of truth. It's still quite warm, but we're going to cut into it anyway. I'm going to pick a little bit thicker spot, like right here. And there is the crumb. It's beautiful. Oh my gosh, the smell is unbelievable. I think I'm getting the idea that we might have a request from the cameraman for Reuben sandwiches for supper tonight, only he's going to have to run to the store and get some pastrami. So let's have a little taste of this and see what it's like. And I'm just going to taste it plain so I can get the full effect of the dill and the rye. Oh. It fills my whole mouth. So good. If you make this recipe, after you've made it once, feel free to adjust the caraway seed and the dill weed, or even instead of dill weed, you can use dill seed, which may give a stronger taste. You can adjust the flour to have less bread flour and more rye flour. You can just play around with this recipe. Lots of different directions you could go in manipulating the ingredients of this to make it just exactly the way you want it. You could even do this in your bread machine, pulling it out before it bakes in the bread machine and shaping it however you would like. So that ends our video on Dilly Rye Bread. And I hope you try the recipe. Remember, I'm going to put the 4 extra ingredients in the description with their amounts. So all you'll have to do is open up to page 37 of the bread book and add the 4 extra ingredients and you will have this. So thank you for sticking with us. We appreciate you so much. And please share our videos with others and subscribe if you haven't. We would love to have you as an official subscriber to our channel. So we will see you very soon with another video.